Hello, and welcome to an awesome episode of Run the Tape. Yes, and today I'm by myself. It's been a long hiatus. Some of you have been in my DMs for too long, and officially, this is how the podcast will be rolling. Things happen. Joyce had to take a complete hiatus and Carrie moved cities. So what do we do? So soon I'm going to have new people on this pod. Maybe you can suggest to me who should join me on the pod. But the reason why we're back is because there's so many things we need to talk about. Like, this world is crazy. My goodness. I can't even take a short break before I come back. And I'm like, where do we start? No. Story number one. Over the weekend, I hung out with a friend of mine and I told him, listen, do not let technology overtake you. Like, I don't care where you're at in life. Don't let technology overtake you. Any new tech that comes, please just jump on it. Otherwise, you will be these shows that end up in the news. Another show has been conned. And this time it's all, I don't know whether it's AI, I don't know whether it's Facebook, I don't know whether it's WhatsApp, but this show. What do you know about shoshos? Shoshos are those babes who want to make sure that, when your parent is trying to mistreat you, she's chomoing for you her last quarter, like, hey, Shika, go and buy for yourself a sweet. Sindio, but if your shosho is not like that. Because I've had there shoshos who are very, very mean. And I feel like I'll be a very mean shosho. But anyway, as I digress. So this shosho, she's there chilling in her house, holding her phone in her hand. And then she gets a message. And it's this guy. And he said, hey, Shosho, what's good? I need your help. So they start talking. This is on text. And before you know it, she finds out that this guy is an astronaut. Your Shosho is seated there. She's talking to an astronaut who's in space. You're not going to visit your Shosho. Your Shosho is talking to someone who's in the NASA Space Center. Okay. The guy texts and says, you know what, Shosho? Actually, I'm so grateful that someone on Earth has responded. On Earth. And then he asks her, please send me some money because I'm stuck in space. Yeah. So now, of course, at this point, you're like, age brings wisdom. Yeah, but there's some age you can reach and pinnacle and top and start now going down. What would the shosho do? Man, she sent the guy money. This is why you should visit your shoshos, guys. This is why you should go and visit your shosho. Don't let her be seated there by herself the whole day, because these are the things that happen. But you know what? The reason I was telling my friend why you shouldn't let technology overtake you is because I know you're in your house right now laughing at this show. Like, how do you send someone money to space? Ni bus fare umemtumia, ni pesa umetumia mask, like, how? But then last year, remember there was a guy? There was the guy who told the babe that she was talking to Brad Pitt. Right? Brad Pitt started texting her. Before you know it, Brad Pitt is telling her, babe, I don't want to tell you too much. I'm having like financial issues, but I don't want to talk about it with everyone. I'm having a divorce. I've got baby mamas. Do you want to help me with some cash? And this lady shared about $970,000 with Brad Pitt, right? And she was even doing FaceTime. So I know you want to be like, these guys are dumb. But I'm telling you, don't let technology overtake you. Otherwise, you'll be that parent who your kid is trying to give you subscription for WhatsApp. There are things you hear in this world that really just make you go like, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe it. Do you know how proud I am of being 5'11"? Like, I think it's literally the only thing I talk about. I walk into a room and I tell guys, I'm 5'11". But then, it wasn't always like that. When I was growing up, I've told you the stories. I used to be nicknamed, like, you can't be tall, well, in Kenya, and people just let it slide. They're like, hey, Kwani, where are you going? Hey, and you're so tall. Kwani, you're like a sugar cane. Oh, hey, look at you. You're like a tree. It's like, no, I just discovered. I live with myself. I know I'm growing tall. I know I'm tall, right? And even till today, there are places where I walk into and people tell me, wow, you're actually tall. I'm like, for real? But let me see. Because, like, what are you... so height is a very important conversation. Now, for my short babes, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, right? Let me tell you. So, apparently, I saw this headline and I was just like, this is madness. This is crazy. Women, tall women, are traveling to Turkey. Men, we're not coming for your hair plugs. That's you. Men travel to Turkey only to get. If you have a boyfriend who's traveling to Turkey and he's telling you it's work, it's not work, babe. He's going to fix that patch on his hair, which is okay. Anyway, women are traveling to Turkey to make themselves shorter. Yep, this is the kind of pressure you're giving people. The other day I was telling you about men in India who are doing the surgery to make themselves taller, right? So they break the femur and then they add more bone. I don't know, from their haga or their hand, I don't know, right? I don't know where we have extra bone, but they take the bone and then they extend it, right? Now, this is India, where men have been, well, I feel like this is also the same story in Kenya. Men are dissed for being 5'5", or for being 4. There's a guy who told me, there's a guy who hollered at me. Shout out to the boxer who hollered at me, 4'1". And he was happy. So this is what men are doing, breaking their femurs to make themselves taller. Guess what babes are doing? Breaking the same femur to be shorter. Okay, for those of you who don't understand what a femur is, take your moment right now and Google, and then I want you to touch your femur and imagine it breaking in the name of trying to be shorter. Imagine breaking a bone so that you can be another person. It's crazy. Anyway, these are the things that are happening. And I feel like the more you bully people, right, the more they end up doing things in life that completely change them. For example, you see that friend of yours who you were in primary school with or in high school with, or in uni. And then you met them after and you're like, where the hell did you get that ass from? Right? You're asking the wrong questions. What you should ask is, who bullied you when you were a kid? Who told you you don't have an ass? Because this person probably went and worked their ass off, pun intended, to get that ass. So stop bullying people. Tulizaliwa hivyo. You know, when I was a kid, I hated going to church. Now, I have to be honest. I was born in an SDA home. So church was like a whole day affair. Like, remember, I've done Monday to Friday, which was a goddamn sacrifice. My whole life, I hated school, right? So every waking day, like there's no day where I was excited, right? So I've already done the sacrifice for Monday to Friday. Then Saturday, a whole day. Like, you know, when you're leaving the house and your auntie has carried the food flask and you're like, where are you taking where are you taking the dish? Where are you taking food to? And she's like, no, you know, after church, where there's lunch, it's called potluck, and then there's more. So basically a whole day thing, right? So I hated going to church. As a young child in Kenya, there's so many things I could have been doing with that time. For example, catching up with my friends, because not all my friends go to the same school that I go to. Anyway, now that you've stopped calling me an atheist, right? Did your parent ask you if you wanted to be that religion? Did they? Or did they just yank you out of the house and take you to where you need to go? In our constitution, the freedom of religion is enshrined, right? It's enshrined, which means I should be able to choose and tell my parent, I don't want to go to church. And they shouldn't be like, we're not going to have any demonic kid here. Allow me to be 18, okay? Or take me to every church or every religion and then give me a chance to pick. Sindio, now that you're sufficiently pissed at me for this conversation, let's go to Japan, where this has now completely been enshrined in the constitution. If you're a parent or you're planning to have a Japanese boyfriend or girlfriend, alafu munahamia Japan, reverse. They've said, if you're a kid and you don't want what your parents are offering, you can be protected from that. Now, before you say, hey, in whose house, right? Think of the kids in Shakahola. Right? Your parent has just yanked you out of school, right? In the name of religion. They've told you, we're moving to another town, right? In that bus, the whole time you're probably thinking like, this shit don't make no sense, right? You've gotten to Malindi, you've entered the bush, right? The whole time you're like, this shit don't make no sense. But you are not yet in your mind knowing that you have that right of freedom to say, I don't want to be a part of this. So I really like this concept. Like when I saw this, I said, I feel like this is what Kenyan kids need. Hear me out, right? Because we have too many cults. I know you're like, Kwambox which cult, si Shakahola was see, there's another one. Sijui be Mzaro, sijui be Malindi. I think we need to close Malindi. Let's close Malindi. Just close it. Funga. Kila mtu atoke nje, uanze kurudishwa one by one to count. Because it's crazy. Look at the front page of the paper today. A 30-year-old cult leader, right, led people to their death. But what pisses me off about these cults is that there's so many children involved, right? And if you've been raised, especially because kids are so subservient to their parents, you can't tell mom, hey, shit, it makes sense, right? But if the constitution, it's enshrined there, and you're taught, like in school, if your mama says this, you say, no. The moment your mom starts diverting, now we are doing, or your dad, okay, even dads, do dads lead people into religions? Story for another moment. Your mom now tells you, now from today onwards, you're wearing white from head to toe. Now we are no longer, we're going to be facing this side of Mount Kenya. Now you can't hang out with those friends of yours, because in Japan, they're saying you quickly go to the cops and tell on your parents. This parent is going crazy. I like this. Hit me up in the comment section. What do you think about this? Do you think kids have the freedom to be able to choose their religion? If you had a choice when you were a kid, right, and your parent tembezed you to all the churches, right, or to all the religious institutions, do you think that would have given you the freedom? Ama freedom is an illusion. As a Kenyan, do you know how many things we can teach the rest of the world? Running, lions, Maasais, stopping corruption. Yeah, you heard me right. Let me tell you, Kenyans, we are top in teaching other people how to stop corruption. You think I'm lying? 4 countries sent delegates to Kenya, right? 4, of course, African countries. There's no European who's sending their people to Africa to learn about lack of corruption, right? But 4 African countries spent their budgets deep. They're like, take this money, go to Kenya, go and learn, like they have done, how to stop corruption. And the guys came. JKI, Expressway, roads, got their hotels. And they sat there, and EACC was like, you see, this is how we do it. You see? Now, I had Kenyans hating on EACC. When the headline came out, guys were like, how can Kenya teach people about corruption, especially stopping corruption, putting structures? My God, we have never even seen anybody being held accountable for all the billions that are siphoned out to this country. The ones we see are, for example, the story of this guy who has to pay Gava about 80 million, right, for using fake documents.
Wait a minute.
Okay, I don't know, it's 80 or 8. I had it on a Lunje station, so it could be 8 or 80, I don't know. But this guy, yeah, fake documents. These ones, cops and the SEC know how to shika. Quick. But who stole the money for this? If Shah's money has disappeared. So, explain to me what Uganda, Somalia, Sierra Leone, and is it Burundi? Sent their people to this country. No, South Sudan, Uganda, Somalia, and Sierra Leone. Now, for the 3 East Africans, I get it. We're a shining beacon of... we are the... wow. What do I need to tell you? Kenya, we are tops, right? But for the West African, I don't get it. How many countries have you crossed, jumped, hop, step, jump to get here? That don't make no sense to me. Number 2, the thing they mentioned in the article was that EACC has sealed loopholes in county governments and some ministries, like in total 52 structures they've put in place to seal loopholes. Okay, this is what I'll say. Sharing is caring for sure. We should share with our neighbors. But let's not... How do these countries not see we are stealing from them? That's what we do best. There is no anti-corruption stuff we can teach you, right? The day I'll say that Kenya can teach another country how to handle corruption is the day where we breaking news. Minister of Health has been held accountable. They've been locked up in the... Not some guy who has... No, we need proper accountability. But you know what? I'm a cynic. I'm a skeptic. Do you think genuinely that this is a corruption scheme from those countries? Just looking for, like how our people just love to travel so they can get sitting allowance, right? Or do you really think that we can teach other people the great shining Kenya, the land of chai, the land of Yamacho, the land of soda, the land of Kitu Kidogo, can teach other countries how to store? I think so. I just don't know whether we can teach ourselves. In all the years that I have worked, I have been employed, or I have worked as an individual. My parents have only come to the office to see where I work. Oh, this is the studio. Wow. Right? Look at that. Wow, this is the microphone. Wow. This is my seat. This is my desk. This is my cap. Right? And they're like so proud of me. And then we go for lunch. But if I was Gen Z, my folks would have helped me write that CV. They would have even come to discuss with the boss. Moms, you can't tell them. See, my stomach was aching. According to some research, 50% of Gen Z have had their parent speak to their boss. I don't know whether I'm the only one who's finding this super ridiculous, but like at that time boss amekuchachisha, and then you're like, and then you go tell your mom. How does this work? How does your employer and your parent, where do they meet? Do you sign the contract with your employer, with your parent? Staki kujudge Gen Z. You know I love you. I care about you. But that shit sound crazy. It sounds ridiculous. Like, how can you make your parent, like, at what point do you grow up? How do you think your boss is going to look at you seriously? Like, if have you ever gone to a restaurant and you're trying to get something, you're trying to reason with this waiter, right? But then you're just not getting through to them. What do? Let me speak to your manager. Now, I'm your employer. I'm talking to you. And then you say, hold on. Can I call a friend? This is not a game. And then you go call your mom. And now I'm sitting there. And I'm like, okay, Mama Jonte. So, kijana hajatuma email. What do you have to say for him? He hasn't been showing up the past 14 days. He's been saying mental health issues. On top of that, the guy is a thief. He has stolen from this person. Here's the video. Here's the evidence.
Are you serious?
I find this so crazy. But then at the same time, I find it cringe. But then at the same time, I love the freedom that Gen Z have. A millennial will never even think that, hiya, you mean I can call my mom? I didn't know. This whole time, the boss is like making me feel like an idiot. All I had to do was just call. Forget even my mom. My mom, is for when you've made a mistake. When the boss has made a mistake, call your dad. Call your dad to the office. Especially if your boss is bullying you. So I feel like Gen Z are really expressing their free will. And the rest of us are just watching and going like, how could they? Look, if you're having a tough time in the office, you're a boomer, you're a Gen X, you're a millennial, call your mom. Not to bitch, to the office. Especially if she's loud, she's got to put that boss in their place. What are they going to do? Start telling them, they respect their elders. It's crazy. Let me know what you think about these stories in the comment section. Guys, this has been a nice snippet of Run the Tape. I had to get these things off my chest because, it's a crazy world. We're going to be talking more about some other crazy stuff, but for right now, catch you on the other side next week, same time, same place. Adios.